I'm going to show you the procedure and the setup for the micro rocket mole experiment. Please note that you will not be handed a procedure, so take very careful notes from this video, such as the amounts, the quantities, and the size of the reaction vessels. First thing is to put on your goggles. Remember, safety first. Then you will need two 50 ml Erlenmeyer flasks with 2 septa. You also will need 2 graduated pipettes. Notice on the pipette there are graduations. And then also notice that there is a junction between the bulb and the barrel. This will be important when we make our micro rocket, which is made out of the barrel, and you're going to get rid of the other piece of it. Cut the first graduation, and this piece will go into the septa, just like this. Here's the septa. Make sure that it's flush with the septa, and this will go inside of the Erlenmeyer flask, just like that. You will now do this a second time for the other generator. Take another pipette, cut it at the first graduation. Don't cut your hand, please. Cut the septa. Put it in the septa. Make sure it's flush with the septa, and put it in the generator. That's how you make your 2 generators. Next, you need to make the rocket, which is just the bulb. Alright, you only need 1 of them. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut at the junction between the barrel and the bulb, and that will be your micro rocket. This is where the reaction is going to take place. Next, you need to make graduation lines on this. You got to make 5 different lines and break it up into 6 pieces. 5 lines. And there are several ways to do this. And I will show you 2 ways. The first way is just an eyeball way of doing it. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a mark right in the center of the bulb. Just eyeball it. And then you have to break up each side of that into 2 parts. Or I'm sorry, it's 2 lines but 3 parts. The best way is to visualize the middle of it and then go into the middle of each of those. So you add 2 more lines, so you have 3 equal parts. And you do the same thing on the other side. Kind of visualize the middle, mark on either side of it, and get another 3 equal parts. So you should have a total of 6 equal parts. Alright, and it should be a total of 5 lines. And basically just try the best you can. You could use a ruler for this. That sometimes is easier. So that is the other method. Let me show you. Let me make a second one and just show you the ruler method. Let me grab it here. There we go. You can just kind of measure it, measure the total length, and then take that and divide it by 6, and then measure off that length so that you have a total of 5 lines. Try the method that works best for you. Some people might think the eyeball method is the best way. Some people might think that the ruler is the best way. But just do the best you can. Now the 2 generators. I'm going to show you how to set these up. One of them is for zinc metal and hydrochloric acid, and the other one is for yeast and hydrogen peroxide. Let me show you how to set these up. Alright, first you will need about 2 to 3 grams of zinc. Alright, so go weigh out 2 to 3 grams of zinc. And you will also need about 10 milliliters of 2 molar hydrochloric acid. The concentration is 2 molar, and you'll need about 10 milliliters of it. Alright, now you can squirt the 10 milliliters into the graduated cup that's on the top of the bottle. Alright, And first thing is to put in the 2 to 3 grams of zinc and then pour in the HCl. The order of addition is not that important. If you pour in the HCl first, that's fine, or if you pour in the zinc, that's fine. Just be very careful with the hydrochloric acid. Swirl it around a little bit and put the septa on it. Now there's a gas that's being generated. You should figure out what the gas is. And you want to keep this on for a while because the gas is going to push all the air out, and you want it to be completely filled with just the gas that the zinc and the HCl is filling. So once you set that aside, and you can set up the other one, which is hydrogen peroxide and yeast. Alright. Right, first thing to do is to measure out 10 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide and add it to the flask. In this case, the order of addition is extremely important. You have to put in the hydrogen peroxide first before you put in the yeast. Right? There's the hydrogen peroxide. Now the yeast you want to just sprinkle on top. You're probably not going to use all of it, but if you do it too quickly, the gas formation is so fast that it will actually shoot out of the Erlenmeyer. Here's an example of what would happen if it goes too fast. That's a mess. You do not want that. So to avoid that, please follow these directions, the order of addition. Hydrogen peroxide, and then sprinkle on the yeast just on top. Alright, now let me show you how to do this. And the reason is because you want to slowly generate the gas. If you do it too much, it goes way too fast. Alright, so slowly do it. Unfortunately, when I did this, I did it a little too fast. Don't do it that fast, do it a little slower. But you can see it doesn't shoot out. Alright, but you can see gas being generated at the bottom. Now this reaction happens very quickly. Again, you want to put the septa on, swirl it around, remove any air from inside. But this reaction does occur quickly. You might have to add hydrogen peroxide, about 5 mils at a time, throughout the reaction, because the yeast and the hydrogen peroxide do react very quickly. Alright, once you got them, once you got it all filled, I'm going to show you how to collect the gas now. So in the rocket, what you're going to do is you're going to take your rocket that you just made the graduations, and you're going to fill it up completely with water. Alright, use a squirt bottle, put it through the hole, and completely fill it with water. At the tip, it might be empty. Make sure you get a little bit of water at that tip there. Okay, make sure the tips, see the tip's empty. I'm going to put a little bit more to fill it up. If you do this over a beaker, you don't get it as wet. And what you're going to do is turn it upside down and put it on top of the pipette, and you can see the bubbling. The bubbling is the gas that's being generated from the gas generator. You should figure out, and you can see on the sides the water inside of here is dripping down, and you want to put in enough gas to the parts of that gas that you want. So if you want 3 parts of this gas, you want to stop at the 3rd line. If you want 4 parts, start at the 4th line. If you want 1 part, stop at the 1st line. Alright, I'm going to do 4 parts on this one. Take it off, and then the water, by capillary action, stays in there, and it traps the gas that you just put in there. So in that head space is your gas. And then you're going to bubble through the next one. As soon as the gas is done, quickly do the pop test. Do you see the explosion? Now the rocket launch, same thing, but this time you want to keep a tiny bit of water at the bottom, because by the time you get over there, you want it to stay in there. And that's how you rocket launch it.